What is up, everybody? This is SCP-CRNP along with
Harmony, hello.
Hey, bonjour, bonjour. Let's get ourselves up on the screen here. Come on now. Where are we at?
Oh no,
Uh,
it all seems to have gone terribly wrong. Oh, there we go.
hey, everybody. What's going on? Thanks for showing up. This is our
Yeah,
odd time this week.
yeah, late. Oh
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah. So it's 10:30 over there.
it is indeed. It is 10:34 p.m. right now.
Not to regionally dox you. My bad. But
Yeah, I'm on
all
the
right.
East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, well, thanks for showing up. This is really the kind of, I don't know, I was trying to think of a better name than ball drop doesn't sound quite right. It's got
Yeah, the coronation, maybe the loser coronation.
yeah, the loser coronation. So let me kind of get us set up here. Where can we go? Here it is. Boom, look at that. So yeah, we are gonna finish up the 7,000 contest tonight. Obviously, it will end as the hub says, midnight Eastern time. So it's about a little over an hour. So we were going to kind of chill
Something like
and
that. Yeah,
talk about the contest and what it's meant and what we think of it. And we've really saved our commentary for the loser for this show. So I thought this would be a nice time for us to really just dig in, plug in, really just eat it up, eat every detail we can up about the loser tonight.
yeah. There's a lot to the loser. It's a really fun article. I'm glad it's the one that's going to win because I think that it does the most of anything that I've read to achieve what it sets out to do, which I think is an important thing for a story to have, that it's completely fully realized. It doesn't leave anything. And it's good because it takes the obvious route of it's this guy who's affecting probability, and it really goes through and shows what that means in so many different aspects. And I think that that's interesting. And also the way I like the way that they use the chaos insurgency is kind of like a literal aging. Although I would have liked to see more development from it. I always like to see more development from the insurgency. But oh man, it's a pretty gosh darn good article. I'd have to say. I really enjoyed reading it again to refresh myself for this stream. Enjoy the fact that it's going to win. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and when it will. So let's see, before we get going here, let me just see if I can share a different screen. Here it is. So I have pulled up here the current standings. Maybe a little hard to see, but we've got the top 13 here. This is something we've been keeping track of throughout the whole contest. And yeah, it's really a foregone conclusion. This is really, I think, the third of these KCONs in a row where the winner is just obvious. It's just
It's a coronation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great word for it. I think the only contest that maybe wasn't that way was the 3K, right? There was a lot of contention at the top spot.
Yeah, 3K was very competitive, especially at the end. That was one where you did not know if it was going to be Red Reality or Anastasia until right there when they had all the marbles were counted up at the end.
And really the same was true of 6K. There was it was Rounders and Cactuses. Obviously they were a little close until the end. I think people had to look at the results to really really figure out who kind of came in first. It was almost like the zoom in on the finish line.
Photo finish, yeah.
Yeah. Photo finish. Yeah. So this one, like the 5K, like the 4K, really is not really a contest at this point. I think the only thing we stand to kind of be, sort of adrenaline-like looking at are the other positions. We've got some very close spot changes that could be happening. Right now I'm looking at slot number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is the Neon God and by Tufto and Site 19 by Plague PJP. These are really just one upvote away from one another. And then Luck of the Irish by Testaffer, Dr. Sumerian are kind of neck and neck. And that's really about it. You maybe could take a peek at Uncle Nicolini's So Long and Thanks for All the Fish and Grigori Karpin's Misfortune Gorge. But I think that spread is probably going to sustain itself until the final tick down.
Yeah, I think that kind of where stuff is at seems to be where it's going to end up being at. I don't foresee there being a huge amount of movement here from anything.
Yeah, the loser is currently at 459. Second place is 327, and then so on. So, I mean, this is a pretty good showing, though. We've got one article about to hit 500. One article in the threes, and then looks like 7 articles at the plus 200 category.
So you can't see people aren't engaged with it. People are reading a lot of at least the most popular ones.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And then on that note, I thought it would be nice tonight to basically go through each of our personal top tens, because I'm sure that our lists look a little different. Having read most of these together, at least in a dual capacity, you and I have basically gotten, along with Fern, basically everything in this contest covered. I thought it would be interesting to give our top tens.
Ooh, I haven't even thought of it. What my top 10 would be. I know I can think of a few that I like off the top of my head. I'll have to go through the list and pick 10 out to be like, ooh, yes, that one was particularly. That one tickled my fancy.
Well, you think about it. I'm interested when the contest ends. I'm interested to see some stats as to how many total entries there were, how many have survived. And once again, I think we have well surpassed the sort of the spread of what we were expecting to see. Definitely the most entries ever.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the first one to break over 100 entries, and it absolutely shattered that. We are well past. We are like, I think there's like 112 or 120 or something like that. Some unbelievable number of entries in this contest.
Yeah, I wish I'd been keeping up with that. I probably will do this just for fun, is to go see how many were deleted, and then so that way we can get like a net gross total.
I remember it was always whenever I'm going through the ones that I was going through for that week, and if it was deleted, it was like, yes, all right, one less to have to. Yeah, exactly. Let's move on. We're moving on.
One less. By the way, while we're here, just want to thank you so much. I mean, if it weren't for you, I would have given up on this probably several weeks. In fact, I probably would have given up on this whole thing before the 7K came around. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to go out with a full complete project, like going over all these basically all the 7 countries. If there's any we didn't read ads, that we read most of them. It's all good.
Yeah, probably one or two that fell through the cracks, but we got most of them. I think the ones we didn't cover were pretty safely in the negatives. Though, I don't know if they're doing that thing like they did last one, where they don't delete it until basically the end, or not. But let's just take a scroll down here. What we got? Yeah, we got some negative 10s. Looks like a few have been deleted. But yeah, I remember reading some of these. All right. Well, so let's start things off. Let me switch back so that I don't make it clear what my alt name is for the SCP Wiki is.
Don't make it too easy for them.
Right, exactly. I already did that once. All right. So yeah, let's
they got you for it when you did.
They did. They got me. So let's just kind of take this.
Watching.
Yeah, they were very clever. They're paying attention. Smart people there. Don't underestimate them.
Yeah. It's easy to underestimate them because of the mistakes they make sometimes, but they're not completely stupid. They're just a little bit incompetent.
No, and there's always the question of, does anybody actually care? Was anybody actually watching? I guess there's a little bit of a flattering thing.
It's like, oh, you guys,
you do care. You really do care. All right, so let's kind of go with this from a bird's eye view a little bit. So the contest theme was luck. And I think just in retrospect, that was a really bold decision. It really seemed to be kind of an outlier from the past themes. And if I had to say one thing that I think didn't go well about it, it's that too many times during the process of reading these entries, we saw authors really kind of take the opportunity that was presented to them, all this low-hanging fruit, and basically equivocate luck with plot convenience. We saw a lot of that, I feel.
Yeah, a lot of contrivances that were then the whole point is like, it's a contrivance. Haha. Isn't that clever?
Exactly. And it was almost like, oh, well, it's luck. I guess that's kind of tying in the theme well, but is it? Who knows? So yeah, what do you think about this theme just in general?
I thought that it has pretty good continuity with the other themes, because I mean, you got urban legends, science fiction, horror. What else are the other ones have been? There's the I can't. I'm having trouble remembering the science fiction one.
Yeah, folklore, horror,
Folklore. Yeah,
science
I
fiction,
think
mystery.
it fits in right in with it fits in right in with all of those as a broad enough. It's a broad enough concept that you can be creative with it, but it's not so broad as to be meaningless. And I think that it's definitely different, but I think it fits in with what's come before that has continuity with it. It's not such an unusual choice that I'm not terribly surprised by it being luck. It seems like a logical continuity with what's come before.
Yeah, well said. I wonder when we're going to get fantasy. That's got to be coming at some point.
Yeah,
Everybody's holding their breath.
that's definitely they're I think that at this point you might as well hold on to that until 10K so that it's like you can really, because you're gonna get there with this momentum you've got. You're at least gonna get to 10. Man, five digit. I thought we were cool when we moved from 3 to 4 digits. We're gonna go to 5 digits.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yep. It'll happen. I'm sure. Happen in the next. What is it? So we're entering the 7000. So it's Series 8. So just 3 years.
Yeah, not even if it keeps accelerating. I mean, it's getting faster every time. So we'll see if it slows down or if it continues to pop off.
I mean, it's got to speed up a little bit because I mean, you've got basically a whole 10th of a series after this contest alone. You like we've said, we got over 100.
Yeah, so you're already 10% of the way done, and with the rate that people were posting before, you're really gonna have no trouble filling this series up. Like, man, I wonder if the next series, if it happens quickly enough, the next series will be like people will still be tired from this one. It'll be less because they're like, oh god, we just wrote so much.
It's the short K contest.
Yeah,
8,000, I guess. So this was something interesting on the page that I didn't really pay attention to, but so there was apparently, so you're permitted to edit your article but not wholly replace it. You're allowed to add and remove sections, yada yada yada. So they basically have this like flow chart.
wow. So they made a whole graphic to explain their rules.
Yeah, which I guess they're pretty convoluted, but on posting, is the entry a complete contained story? Yes. You're not allowed to edit it if the edit is replacing or overriding the said entry. Interesting. Yeah. So this was apparently something that came about due to SCP-6500 last contest, that gigantic conglomeration of a article collaboration that happened. Apparently that one went through multiple variations during the contest itself. And I think also happened to Billith. Billith was talking about this. Apparently this was inspired by those two entries last time. So I hope it helped this time.
Yeah, they're always finding new ways that people are finding to bend their simple rule system that they have to make it more complicated.
Yeah, there's always an arms race with leveraging and making rules to try to stop those things. Well, all right. Well, so speaking of top 10s, Fern is not here with us tonight, but Fern obviously helped out quite a lot with all of these reviews, took a good chunk of them. And so we'll start off just by giving Fern's top 10. And so we'll go through each of these. So at Fern's number 10 spot, we have 3 White Horses by They Call Me Tim. I don't know if you got a chance to read this one. Oops.
I may or may not have. Which one was it? I know I didn't read this one. That's a cool horse, though.
Yeah, that's a nice horse. This is a nice article. It was really off to a sort of a slow start, and then I think started to pick up some steam. It's a really, really interesting sort of like post-apocalyptic article, and it does a really, really great job with a lot of things. Hey, can I ask you to share your screen? Are you on the wiki right now?
I am on the wiki right now, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Which one is... I don't know what I'm trying to see. I see my Discord, I see preview, I see my calendar, stream. Oh, this is the... I have to make this a separate window so I can not just be infinitely consecutively streaming the StreamYard.
Oh, nice.
We don't want that.
I'm going to try to set mine up a little bit to where I'm not having to bounce around there. Let's see. SCP Wiki 7000 contest. Let's do it that way. Okay, now we are now in a race.
Okay, I'm trying to. It's not giving me a good.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this screen. No, not that screen. Share screen. Share screen. Ah,
It ain't doing it, is it? All right. Well, I got mine back up. Hey,
there's. Oh,
booyah.
we
Oh,
both boom boom. Both of us.
all
Both
right.
of us got ours up.
All right. I may call on you. I may call on you.
Okay.
All right. So all right, that was Fern's number 10. That was written by They Call Me Tim. That's a really nice one. Interesting that all of these are red on my screen. No big deal. So number 9 for Dr. Fern was Amaranthine. This is by Disadron, and I believe by Jay Dune as well. And Harmony, I think you read this one
I
as
did.
well. Didn't you?
I
Yeah.
did look at this one.
And you liked it, if I remember correctly.
I thought it was pretty cool.
It got a little out of
Yeah.
hand.
This is every. You know, I think it's important that the one that won this year does not use any of these god dang offsets, because these offsets, I think, just take you out of the story every single time I've seen them used. They take you out of the story.
Yeah, and they sort of mask the true length of the article, and you sort of have to figure it out as you go. That was something that, once again, Harry Blank said that he was very open with. He wanted to be very open about and very forthcoming and transparent about the actual length that was going to be presented initially. Yeah, so this is the one that there's a lot of howling going on here.
Yeah, this is. I remember that it was like, come on, man. You're killing me. You're killing me. Like, I was with you, and then you made me lose it because you were killing me.
You know, and this is just something odd too. I mean, you always play this risk when you do a CSS heavy treatment. This is a Safari that I'm on. I mean, this is a iMac from 2000 and I think it's from 2019, maybe from 2017. But I mean, it's Safari. You know, it basically loads everything. And as you can see on the screen, if I didn't know any better, yeah, if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't see anything. I have to actually, just because I know that there's this highly obnoxious text here, I can highlight it, you know, and then it shows up. But
yeah, they think you're being clever by making people mess with stuff, but you're really just making your content less accessible to most people.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, you know, I guess the highest, you know, operating computers are sort of okay with leaving everybody else behind on the wiki. I mean, and look, this looks terrible, honestly. Maybe it just loaded incorrectly. Let me try it one more time. Nope, it just can't do it. So for whatever reason, some browsers just don't have it in them to do that. That's a shame.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Okay. All right, number 8 from Fern was Eel Days by An Actual Crow. This one was just excellent. Kind of a light article. I don't know if you got to read this one. It's one that I covered. But just really, really excellent character study, effortless world building, very whimsical, very genuine, very organic dialogue, and just was a blast to read through. Very engaging.
I will have to check it out.
An Actual Crow is an author who I think is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. They collaborated with Uncle Nicolini and someone else in the 4K, and it did a pretty good job with an article about cowboys and the Cretaceous period, if I'm not mistaken.
I like cowboys in the Cretaceous period.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good article. Yeah. Cowboys Cretaceous period. I'm there. I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to win with that. You know, I mean, your ingredients are so. I mean, how can you lose?
Yeah, what's not to love? You've already hooked me. So what's not to love? You're really gonna have to try to lose me on that one.
Exactly. All right. So next, Corporate Apotheosis is Fern's number 7. This is by Lord XVNV, which I know is a number, but I can't be bothered to figure that out unless you know it. I don't know it. Can't figure it out. But this is a nice one. This one had a great one-sentence description opening, so I'll just read that. SCP-7000, or quote-unquote the company, is Brackeystone Shoe Polish Company, a publicly traded specialty shoe polish manufacturer which achieved apotheosis on July 23rd, 2021.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, Lord knows how to do that well. And so this, I didn't get to read this one. This is one of the ones that I didn't read, but Fern had a very positive opinion of this one, and it's it's in the upper crust, I would say, of rating wise, the articles in this contest. And I don't doubt that this is very well written. Lord is a good writer, and an excellent critic. So I would assume that they would apply those things to their writing. So, and if that first sentence is any indication, I think they did.
Yeah, it's that I like that. It takes you to so many places. It's a company. You're thinking it's a publicly traded company, then apotheosis, and you're like, what the? It makes you ask all the questions that make you want to keep reading the article and figure out what the hell is going to happen next. Good picture too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the assigned task force X2 unto Caesar. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. And then Fern's. This is an interesting choice to me. Lost and Unfound. This was basically the last one chronologically. If we go to the order of posting here, you can see it's the exact last one that was posted before the posting period ended. And this one is by Real Surreal Sir. And it really was an interesting one. Tell me if you were able to read this one.
No, but I love that picture.
Yeah, the picture really, the picture work is excellent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got this kind of creepy thing. I don't know how they did this. This kind of gives me a little bit of 4000 vibes, but
I was going to say Class of 76 vibes, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of mixing of the two, and I think it was really, really good. And then Fern reviewed this one as well, and just had excellent things to say about this. This seems to be somewhat of an underrated one.
Ooh, it looks like it's got a lot of creep factor to it.
Yeah, it does. From what Fern had to say, it is a little long for sure. A lot of collapsible work here, but it looks good. It looks good.
I'm into it. A lot of 05 votes in this contest, man. You're tripping over all these. The 05s are busy this contest.
So many 05 votes. I mean,
they are tripping over them. I'm saying, yeah.
It's protocol. They're in demand, high demand. Number 5 for Fern is Site 19. That is by Plague PJP. Can't find that one. It's not doing a search for it. No problem. Site 19. There it is. This one is doing really well. In fact, if I peek back to my my leaderboard, this is, I think, in something like 6th place as we look at. So it's standing well. Yeah, it was doing 4th place for quite a while, and I think has been displaced by Meet Me in the Stars by Fabled Tiefling, and then of course The Neon God by Tufto has just had such a accelerant rise from the lower parts when it first was released into what is now the top 5.
Yeah, it's always, there's always the one that rockets up, even if it doesn't win, that makes it. Sometimes it makes it competitive, like with 6000 and with 3000. Maybe it's every 3 contests. That's when it gets competitive.
Yeah. I think a minority of them have been competitive now that I think about it.
Yeah, because I can only think of those 2. I wonder if we'll see then the 9000 contest will be the next really competitive one.
For the longest time, really before the loser was released, first place was The Luck of the Irish by Testaffer. And it was interesting because you had just done a Testaffer sort of segment just before this contest began. And we had a conversation about how this author seemed to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
and was really positioning himself well.
She was popping off. She was popping off there for a minute.
Yeah, and so really took the acceleration. It's almost like when you win those racing games, you choose the car that has like a good acceleration,
yeah,
but not the highest max speed, over time. I think that one is sitting at 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7th place right now.
Pretty good showing for a KCON. Yeah, if you're in the top 13, that's an impressive showing. With over 100, with all these entries, if you're in the top 13, you're excellent.
Yeah, cream of the crop for sure. We could probably extend that to the top 20, just because of how many there are.
You got to draw a line somewhere.
Oh, there you go. 13 seems natural here. And yeah, so I mean, just a great. I think this is the first KCON that this author was entered in. Maybe the first contest. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, was really in a position to do well. Really was writing a lot. Really took that very seriously. Had a nice build up to the contest, and I think benefited from it.
Yeah, I think that it's a great experience builder for any young or up and coming author to participate in such a wide community event like this, and to really to show yourself and to show up so well is definitely going to help build confidence for the future of their writing.
Yeah, it's almost like a brand maker. You know, if you can do well here, you know, that can sometimes catapult people
Definitely.
into a lot more recognition. So, number 4 for Fern is an article that I know you read, Harmony, and that you really had some good things to say about. This is Equinax, Insane, Wailing, and Feral.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that one was really. It was. I believe that one was. I thought it was brutal-ish.
Mm.
Let me go find. Let me go find it again. See, I think it was had the really good dialogue that I liked. Insane
Yeah,
Feral.
yeah, it's a long one for sure, for sure.
Let me
Super,
refresh
super
myself.
long.
These all blend. I'm sure that. Yeah. Oh yeah. This one.
Mm.
Yeah. This one. I remember the picture on this some gun. Share my screen again. Pop my screen up. Yeah. There we go. Look at that
Yeah,
guy.
picture work is great. Done by
Fucking
another member of
creepy.
the wiki.
So creepy.
So
It's
creepy. I
so
think it's
creepy. Ooh.
an anomalous author and anomalous writer is the name of the actual Wikidot individual who does a lot of Equinax images.
They're good. They're very good.
They sort of have a partnership, it seems.
It's so yeah. This one. I'm looking at this now. Like, oh, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm looking. This is just creeping me out.
Yeah, I'm real sad that I didn't get a chance to do this. You know, this whole time I've been reviewing SCPs on these kinds of streams. Equinax has always been someone who's performed very, very well, in my opinion. Is really a talented author who really knows how to hit that creepy factor very well. Sort of old school kind of
Is this the
approach.
Halloween font? Is this the font for like the title card for Halloween?
Oh, maybe.
It looks like it, right?
Yeah, it's got the Halloween color.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the exact right shade of orange. I don't know. It's gonna be that time of year. I've got to get my horror movie selections picked out for spooky month because that's my favorite time of year.
Well, this certainly probably is going to rival any of them. You know, one of the things I love about the SCP Foundation when it comes to horror is that it was such a wonderful sort of remedy for these trite formulaic products that we see coming out of something like Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a way you're scaring yourself by looking through and reading all these documents and letting them get to you. When it's I think that when it's at its horror, it's at its best, but it also can't be horror forever. And if you're going to keep writing to 6,000 articles, at least you have the 1,000 or so that are pure spooky horror. They're not going away.
Yeah, and people know this. You probably know this because you were there, Harmony. But the 3,000 contest was meant to be a sort of return to form in that regard.
Yeah,
It felt like they had
it
gotten
was.
away from that.
It was even back then. People wanted to give it, at least. I think it's kind of a last hurrah now in hindsight.
Yeah, you might remember. That's a good way to see it. All right, so moving on through Ferns, we are now at number 3 for Fern's top 10, and this one is The Loser by Harry Blank.
The Loser.
Which let's see what that's cooking at now. I wonder if people are like in these last hours, like voting, like really making their minds up. I don't know,
We'll
but
see.
it's been +1 since we started here, so you know, interesting. But yeah, we'll talk about The Loser for sure. We'll get to that in just a minute. And then Fern's number 2, interesting choice that I know you read, Harmony, is Phantom's Post, which is the only arc of the contest.
It's an excellent. It's a very cool article.
It's called The Ballad of Captain Adrian and Primrose Fatish von Treffel, who I understand is a pre-existing character.
Yes. It's Primrose.
And this is done very well for itself.
Yeah, it was posted on the very last day of the contest. So the fact that it's gotten any kind of traction at all is incredible.
Wow, I think this could be one of the ones I would almost describe it sort of like a slingshot effect. Same as if you're in a line of, let's say, NASCARs, and the backwind sort of comes and takes advantage of some of the aerodynamics that's created by the tunnel. I think this one is kind of doing the same thing, probably post-contest. I can see this one really becoming very celebrated.
Yeah, it's an excellent article. It's really, I mean, Phantom does that Grimbliss style of containment fiction better than I think anybody else. Because I mean, Famine Pulse didn't contribute to this contest, right? I don't think that they have written anything in a long time.
Yeah, correct.
Which is typical of them. We'll probably not. We'll either never see them again, or they'll come back in a couple years, write something outstanding for like 2 years, and then disappear again. We'll see.
It's just the way to do it. The little peppered approach.
Yeah, they have an interesting time. They once said that they had their account deleted by somebody in a public library, but later they admitted that they had just deleted their own account themselves. They're strange, in a good way, in the auteur kind of way.
Yeah, it's almost like building an Enigma character.
Yes.
You know,
so for someone, if you're going to write something so strange, it makes sense that you would also be a strange person.
Yeah, you might as well have fun. Birth some myths about yourself.
Exactly.
So just while we're on this, I did read a tweet from Phantom just now, so I thought I'd say this. Phantom is talking about this on their own article here. Do you like the 1920s? Do you like demonic summoning, non-binary twinks with alcohol and gambling problems, debt slavery to the mob, boats? Well, do I have the perfect story for you? Yeah.
Perfect. What a great description. It really reminded me of have you ever seen that Werner Herzog movie where it's about the bringing the boat over the mountain?
Mm-mm.
It's nothing like that. The plot is like totally different, but it's just the aesthetic and the vibe of the movie gave me the same feeling, because it's the steamboat and the boat looks exactly like that in the movie.
Yeah, I love the imagery already. This just is a nice way to introduce.
Oh, if you like that imagery, you're in for
a. Yeah, I did not have a chance to go read this one. I understand this one is rather long. We've got a lot of good CSS work here too. Very subtle, very tasteful, but very interesting. Look at this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, it keeps going too.
It
wow.
keeps happening.
Wow. Okay.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you, dude. It's really good.
This is amazing. Look, are these all footnotes?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we now have to do most footnote article award.
77 footnotes, perfect number.
At least. Yeah. That's crazy. And then I think the last footnote is another offset link. That's crazy.
And it just keeps going, dude. It's not done yet.
And I'm sure this is written well.
Yeah, no, it's the only thing that I have to criticize is sometimes I had trouble following the dialogue because it's all dialogue. But when there's only two characters talking, you really can't get that confused because there's only one of two options, and you can pretty much figure it out from context if you go back and be like, wait, who is saying what to who now?
Well, look at this. Interesting art and nice introduction of the theme. Obviously, we have card suits here.
Gambling.
Sevens here. This is really just, my gosh, this is a production that two-person production, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Phantom had, I think, commissioned this art from someone. I believe she told me in our Discord server, and then I forgot.
That is crazy. Okay. Well, I can see Fern likes it. Yeah. A lot of good commentary on that one. So I'll look back at that one for sure. Now, Fern's number one is The Neon God by Tufto.
Ooh.
Which were you able to read?
Nope.
Me neither.
No, I only read the ones that we were doing for this because I didn't have time to read either ones.
Right, that was enough. I did read some of this. I didn't read all of it. Once again, due to time constraints.
I looked at this because I remember seeing that opening bunker picture and thinking it kind of reminded me of SCP-2000.
What's funny about this is that this really reminded me of Lamplight, which was Tufto's 5000 entry, and uses some of the same world building and even some of the same characters, I'm pretty sure.
A vibe.
Yeah, kind of building off that. But yeah, this was what I did read of this was obviously excellently written. The dialogue is top notch. You're not going to get anybody writing this well, better than this on the site, I don't think. My only observation in what I read was that it really was just prose. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but there's, as you can really see visually here, there's very, very little to the documentation, We have an initial setup here with the classic sections, and then it's basically just one or two sentence segues, almost scene transitions from one to the next. We really abandoned things like addenda here, and we've basically just understood that this is going to be one sort of narrative flow, almost like you're walking through different rooms of the same house.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I liked the loser and the fact that it's going to win is that even though it is still very much long strings of most of the article is long strings of people talking with some action scenes. It still feels like it's inside the documentation. It still feels like it's taking place within the Foundation documentation. It's not just treating the documentation aspect as superfluous. It actually is integral to the story, integral to the beats of the story, how it's being told. Even if you can also lose, it's okay. You lose track of the fact that it's documentation. So I think some of the longer dialogue sections of the loser, but then it still brings you back and still reminds you that it is within the framework of this document, which I appreciated. It didn't forsake the documentation for the sake of the story. It made it fit it inside without making it feel constrained by it.
Absolutely. That's such an important thing to do. Something that I think the importance of is really being misunderstood or perhaps even
challenged.
Challenged, fall by the wayside, if we can put it nicely. But yeah, that's a huge thing. And really, if even if you come at writing on the SCP Wiki from the more modern approach, which is more commercialized, I think more tailored to a commercial sort of appeal, writing for the charts, you really only stand to benefit from that, because there is still a percentage of readers and voters who will appreciate that and who are really turned off if you just kind of
patronize to them.
Yeah, or you take a crap on the attempt to make this some form of in documentation characters.
Like they look at you and they're like, yeah, we don't really need any of this crap, right? And then you toss it overboard and you're like, well, maybe I kind of wanted it. Maybe I kind of liked the fact that the stories were inside of that.
And I think that's one reason why the loser is doing so well, is because I've said this many times through these streams. I think that's the best piece of Neo Law Foundation that we'll ever see.
It justifies the silliness within its own narrative logic without also contradicting just your suspension of disbelief because of the way that it's written and because of the nature of its effect and the way that it paces itself. It doesn't just go to the lol wacky random stuff right away. And even when it does, it has restraint. Mm-hmm. That was one thing I noted when I was rereading it. I was like, this article, like, even though this is definitely some lol wacky random bullshit going on in here, it is surprisingly restrained for what it's actually doing.
Yeah, it knows when to put it down. It knows when to have it breathe. It knows when more important things are happening. Which is honestly one of the more difficult things to read about those article styles, is they really sacrifice everything for that one push. And it's basically just one volume, the entire read.
It's just like, haha, we're so funny.
Look at me. All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
What is your top 10 of this contest?
I have secretly, while we've been sitting here, I have gone through and pulled. I have pulled. It's at least 10 that I like or remember liking, and I can talk about them all.
All right.
There's one. I've got one that I didn't. The only one that I didn't read for this that I only read for myself because I wanted to see what Zin was writing, and I thought that. So my 10, if we can pop over to mine, I've got it up.
All right, let's see. Boom.
Business Lizard.
Hey, number 10.
Business Lizard was just like such classic Zin. It is peak Zin. The Business Lizard is everything that I wanted. It's Zin writes such cute, peculiar character dialogue for wacky things like the Business Lizard that I can't help but love it. It's got the same appeal as something like another one that I've got in my 10 here, which is the which one is it? Which one is it? Oh god, where's Plankton? It's got the same appeal to me as Plankton does.
Right. Yeah, specifically in that Zin article, it really the magic trick, the grand slam home run decision of that compositionally that really delivers that charm is how the researchers have to address the lizard, one of three different monikers, like Business Lizard, Stocks Lizard, or like Corporate Lizard, one of those three. to begin the sentence. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's just she has such a great way of infusing like cute little human touch moments like that with like the banality of what the Foundation would be doing. She really
Yeah.
never she really, despite her in the grind of the forum helping people, she's never lost like that like almost Disney-esque magic that she can bring to her articles, the whimsy.
Yeah, so nice to see, an administrator and also someone who's a little more old school. Because once again, this is another article that goes really wacky, but that has everything grounded. It's almost like a visual scheme. You don't want to put like, really incongruous colors upon one another. If you want the color to pop, you have to give it some background contrast. And, something like Business Lizard, I think, because of how
Business Lizard,
professional.
please tell me more.
Yeah, because it does that so well, it can get as goofy as it wants.
I like that it's just Business Lizard, Commerce Lizard, Stocks
Yeah,
Lizard.
Commerce Lizard. That's it. Yeah, that's just and you can almost hear Zen saying it. It's just there's so much of
Commerce
Zen's
Lizard,
personality
Business
coming through
Lizard.
that.
I know it's fantastic. It's a really good article. More fresh fruit, primarily strawberries. That's a perfect way. That's exactly how you'd expect her to end it. Really good article. Really enjoyed that. Really cute.
And once again, I never thought that. I mean, after doing all of these SCPs over the last 4 months, I never thought I'd read another article that has a talking animal and that I would enjoy.
Yeah, it's. I've been saying that since 2013 when Smapty was on a roll, dude.
Nice.
That has been. I keep thinking they're done with writing ways to get me with the cute animals. I'm not gonna call for it again, and then they get me again.
Yeah, there's always that good one. In fact,
Always.
Plankton was kind of that way too, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard to not love a good talking animal.
All right, so that's your number 10. What would you think comes in the 9 slot for you?
We've got Dr. Sumerian. Almost goes out on a limb. These 10 are in no particular order because
Gotcha. I gotcha.
I just kind of pulled 10. These are 10 that I definitely like, that I definitely think are good. And Dr. Sumerian goes out on a limb. Was a very it's a personal article for Sumerian. It's
so raw.
Yeah, really it's it makes it, reading it again makes me
yeah, it was a powerful moment.
Take your words away. The fact that it's really scary when someone in your community goes through something so scary like that, and the fact that he was able to turn it into art like this is really really impressive. Really impressive. Really shows that he takes how he expresses himself here through this medium very seriously.
Mm-hmm. That's well said. Yeah, if you listen to what he said about it, his commentary, that happened, and he was able to save his laptop. From the wreckage, it was undamaged. And so one of the first things, according to him, if I remember correctly, his commentary, he opened up the laptop and started typing what would become that article, saying like, this is his mind went first to the SCP Wiki. So that just,
wow.
It's a very special thing to see how much, not only that can mean to him, but to other people around here as well.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, that was, I think, for a time, I think that was certainly the most powerful article. I think it was number 1 for a day early on as well. So that's done very well for itself too. I think, when I was reading that,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's doing fantastic, and it'll continue to do so, I'm sure. That sort of fourth wall breakage is usually something that I would sort of poo-poo at, but if you go through a near-death experience, in my book, you've earned it.
Yeah, definitely. If
it really comes through.
Geez, I mean, just the picture alone, that really hits you like, wow, he really went through it.
Yeah, that was a hell of a storm.
Yeah, geez.
I remember that storm because we're in the same region.
Yeah, and, you guys are both in Alabama.
Yeah, we came out okay. My daughter's playhouse was overturned and damaged, but
I guess better than your real house getting overturned here.
Yeah, this is some serious. I couldn't write an article from that, but this is some serious shit right here.
Yeah. Hey, I wanna refresh my glass here, but I will not be more than like 5 minutes. I will be.
Sure. Go ahead.
Right back. Thank you.
I'll swiftly get through my top 10.
Okay. Wait, I want to hear some of your top 10, so don't go through too.
Okay. All right. I'll just lollygaggle.
Okay.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for showing up. This is our SCP-7000 midnight stream where we are checking out the contest. And so let me try. What I'll do here is see if we can get a live viewing into the current standings. I think we all know who is going to win. Really no surprise right here. Let me see if I can just refresh this, and I'll put it up on the stream for us here. No changes, of course. Maybe just a few changes. Maybe we'll see some position changes, and maybe the 4, maybe the 5, something like that. Let's see what I can show you. Here we go. So here's the current standings. The loser is still way out in front. We really haven't had any changes. You know, the loser, hepatophobia, and business lizard have really retained those spots. Basically the whole contest. Like I said at the beginning, Luck of the Irish was ahead for a few days. That quickly changed when the loser came out. It got over 124 hours and very, very quickly surpassed to the number 1 slot. I think it was holding the number 1 slot, I think, by the second day, and then hasn't let go. And then hepatophobia and business lizard really have been in those slots. Everything down from that has really been a little variable. We had Site 19 at the 4th spot for quite a long time. The Neon God just climbed its way. It was kind of down here. I saw it come into the top 13, and it just didn't stop. And so now I think it's at its highest that it's been. Meet Me in the Stars started out strongly and then fell off just a little bit, but seems to be coming back in some sort of resurgence towards the end there. And then, of course, we have to tip the hat to Locke, who released this. Really the latest of any of these in the top 13 is the Grand Symphony of 1976 by Locke and Not Gull. So certainly for releasing the work several days after most people, that one's doing well. Actually, I have to correct myself. Rounder House was released on the 31st of July, although I think that is sitting at the 12th slot.
Impressive nonetheless.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's giddy it back up to you. I'll throw you the stream. Yeah.
All right. So other than that, I've got this one, which is The Great Filter and What Lies Beyond.
Nice.
I thought this one, this one grew on me just because it's so densely technobabbly that you can't help but like be immersed in it. Because man, does it have a lot of big words in it. Magellan drone swarms if a York incident has occurred. Like, what even is that saying? I don't know, but I like all of the words and how they sound mixed together. This one, I don't know if I liked it in the original stream, but I think that it grew on me over time just because it's not too long.
No, it's not.
It's very crunchy. A lot of denseness to it, and I think that it's like we lucked out of a drone swarm. But humanity is possibly the last things in the universe. I don't know. I just liked it because it made me think of like just a really brief snippet into a much larger incident that could have been the end of the world and wasn't.
A narrowly missed apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, good. Yeah, because this is kind of an one that maybe is under the radar just a little bit. So it's nice to see this kind of being mentioned again. And yeah, I think it was earlier on in the contest as well. So nice. Thanks for bringing it back up.
Yeah, this one's a quick little snack of an article too, which is always a big plus in my book. And then we had this one. This is when I remember I freaked out about this one.
Is this Jack?
The head or tails one, yeah, the coin one.
Yeah, I thought you would say this.
This one got me good. What can I say?
This is the one that has the most tags ever.
Yeah, this one's the one that we couldn't believe how many tags this one had, and we talked about how I had once had the most tags, and this blew me out of the water.
And so many different endings, so many different files. I mean,
let's see what I end up this time.
Just the amount of detail, the amount of work that went into this one.
It's
fantastic.
Whee!
Yeah.
Am I getting the same page over and over again now? Am I?
I'll definitely have to go back and read this. Yeah, I mean, even the individual files had so many interesting things going on.
Yeah, there's so much to this one. There's so much. you can't read it 1 or 2 or 4 times and get everything from it because it's got layers. It's like an onion.
Yeah.
And then my next one after that is something similar to that. It's the one that's a role-playing game inside of a piece of containment fiction.
Yeah.
I just like I don't know if I would ever want this to work as an article, but just like this is something that's definitely it's innovative, and I have to give it that. It's literally they put a whole ass tabletop type game in an SCP file.
Yeah, it's kind of the spiritual successor of 6500 in my opinion. Just that whole giant production, and it looks smooth. You got to give it
all this cool stuff. This is cool.
Yeah. They deconstructed the logo into its constituent parts there with the arrows, the circle, and the outline.
Yeah, like I think I remember like saying that like I the art is kind of fun, but it takes me out of the article because it makes me think, okay, sure. this is yeah. I don't think I like it as I don't know. I don't like it as an article, but I like what it's doing. I like it's doing something totally new and different and interesting. It's a different piece of content. It's in my top 10 because it's too interesting not to talk about.
Yeah, it definitely did a great job with the visuals. I can give it that for sure.
Just the whole RPG system it's got here. It's like, wow. You done made yourselves a whole ass game here, didn't you?
There's a lot of authors on this one too. I think some really old ones too, like real OG authors on this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Check the comments real quick if you can get to them. Unless you.
Nope. No, I'm banned. No, I don't have an alt account. I'm just banned.
Let me kind of pull this up here because I think it was D-Madix. Is that right? Yeah.
Was it? Oh, yeah. That tracks.
Yeah, Liren, Lizard Wizard, IHP, Dark Stuff, and Dejoric. My bad, Dejoric.
Oh, Dejoric. Okay, that makes more sense because it seems like more of a Dejoric kind of joint that he would get involved in. He was always into this kind of stuff, and he's great at writing lore like that. So, oh yeah, I see here at the top. It says actually here at the top of the page, Liren, Lizard Wizard, Hip, Dark Stuff, Dejoric. Mm-hmm. So I probably could have seen it just there instead of making you check, but that's okay. So yeah, just for being completely something totally different, had to include initiative, even if I have quibbles with it as a piece of writing, the strength of its actual writing, the gimmick is strong enough that I want to talk about it because it's they did it. Even if I don't think they did it as well as it could have possibly done, they did succeed in what they set out to do, making this whole ass RPG thing in the context of an SCP story.
And that's not really the only article that tried to do this, but it sounds like this one was the most successful edit.
Had the most polish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also it's kind of like the coin article kind of is trying to do something similar to it, but in a different kind of way. It's not really a game; it's more like a branching story. But what is an RPG if it's not a branching story that you're writing for yourself in real time?
Right.
You know, it depends on what your philosophy towards what a role-playing game is, I guess, if you want to make a stretchy definition. But I mean, this one is like failing a control save after ability damage. It's like, yeah, this is a tabletop game. This is really, really a tabletop game.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm just like, damn. As a person who loves tabletop games, it's cool to see.
Yeah, there's another one called Tabletop RPG Ghost. Just FYI, check that one out too.
Oh,
yep.
Tabletop RPG Ghost. Hello.
By the way, they already banned my alt.
Oh,
yeah, they already got me.
They got you like while we're on the stream.
Yeah, they got me. Damn it.
Oh, I mean, come on, man. You're asking for it.
I did, and I wasn't very careful. Again.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm bad.
I'm crying. I'm actually in tears right now.
I'm flattered. They were really watching.
Yeah, they're watching with us. Oh, it's cute. Okay.
All right.
So we've got. Oh, yeah. We already talked about this guy.
Yeah. What number? I guess no particular order.
Yeah, they're no particular order. I don't even if I had thought about this before, and I wouldn't have put them in an order because I don't like to rank things that like I'll do like a 10 that I like, but I don't like to do like a top like this one's discreetly better than this one.
Yeah.
If I'm unless I'm being facetious and I'm not taking it, and I can just be like, yeah, totally. whatever is better than whatever, but I don't really mean
Yeah,
it. I don't
we
think.
should definitely tell us like your number one though.
Ooh, my number one
When you
is
get there, when you get there.
no, my number one is definitely going to be the Ballad of Captain Adrian and Primrose Fetish von Trevel.
Nice, way to go.
This is my number one for sure. This is the one that I had. This is the only one that I read before the contest started. This is the one that I had the most fun, I think, reading, and this is the one that I got the most out of because I've been following the saga of Primrose since God knows how long. So to see another chapter in the story was absolutely lovely, and I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed this story, and I really enjoyed reading more anything from Phantom and the illustrations, and it's so good.
Nice. All right.
Insane Wheeling Feral. If I had to do a top three, this would be in the top three.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what? Top three. This one, the Ballad, and Plankton. There you go. That's my top three.
There you go. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, because Plankton gave me some feels. Just the idea of being it really gave me not Harrison Bergeron. What's the Flowers for Algernon kind of vibes?
Interesting.
Which was always my favorite short story as a kid about the guy who gets super intelligence and then loses it. And it's like, was he happier when he was dumb, or was he happier when he's smart?
Oh wow, that sounds like a great premise.
Oh, it's a fan. Oh man, that's one of those stories that you can read in public school that will fly over a lot of people's heads. But if you sit down and actually think about it, it'll mess you up.
Yeah, I would bet that the person was happier when he was not with that level of intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the worst part of the story is because it goes from he's self-conscious of his like mind leaving him, and like slowly becoming like mentally he's going from like mentally disabled to like Edison, Einstein genius, then back to being disabled and not able to take care of himself. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a emotionally brutal, because I mean, I don't, not to be ableist, but if you went from being too disabled to take care of yourself to being able to take care of yourself, you wouldn't want to go back to not being able to take care of yourself. I don't think that anyone would prefer to have other people, taking care of them. Everyone wants to be able to have their own individual life and dignity.
Yeah, it's a matter of norm too, just continuing the norm that you're used to as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you for that. That's awesome. Good spread.
Yeah. I've still got a few more here that because we're doing 10. I've got
go ahead.
That we can just run through them, because now you know my top three. Loser would be in the 5. Loser's really good. Loser's got really good dialogue. Loser's got, I think that it's not my favorite thing that I read, but I think that of everything that with the way that the site is going, it makes sense. This one is the one that should be SCP-7000, because it's.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's reflective of the site and taking into account where the site is going and what's been happening to it.
I mean, it's really the conversation. I mean, in my mind, there are articles that are written just as well, maybe even a little better than the loser in this contest, but I still don't think that they should win, because I think that this is kind of a conversation that's been happening quite a lot. I think that basically we should be considering what goes well into that slot, because it's such a representative thing to site history and the rest of the internet. So
yeah, he freaks me out with this too, because I remember when I first read this, I thought that when I saw Dr. Blank, I'm like, oh great, it's gonna be Dr. Blank throughout. But then he thinks he's only in this part, and then he's not even really in it until like the end. Yeah,
it's just a minimum amount of self-insert in there.
Restraint.
At least we got the lowest amount of self-insert, although there is a selfie in there, I guess. So
yeah,
funny how that works.
It's not a bad selfie.
No, it's not bad.
Okay, just the picture work in this one. I love that every single picture of Weddle was blurry.
Yeah, somebody was asking about that, like, hey, why are all the
yeah, and then LeBlanc. I wondered because it said researcher LeBlanc, and Mel LeBlanc was the name of the guy who voiced Bugs Bunny. And after LeBlanc gets introduced in the story is when it starts getting more cartoonish elements. So I wondered if that was a purposeful little, like, once that character's in the story, then things start. It's not because of him, but once he's there, then things are getting a little sillier. So I don't know if that was on purpose, but that was just like a little bit that I noticed.
I wonder if it's a coincidence, because LeBlanc is blank, is the blank.
Yeah.
So
But I wonder. But the specific formulation there, it makes me wonder.
Could be. Once again,
Because
Harry Blank is.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of layers of the meaning here.
No, I'm sure there's at least two.
Between one of these two, I'm sure that one of them would have thought of that.
Yeah. All right. Okay, you got a couple more, yeah.
Yeah, and wash this place clean from sin. I like this one. I liked this one because it reminded me. I like this one because it reminded me of something that I co-wrote with Silberesher way back in the day. That was a joke article called "No Object Class Whatsoever." And like the in-universe argument that this one has about what proper documentation should look like reminded me of the stuff that I had written way back in the day with Silber. It was interesting to see kind of a continuity between an old conversation that I had been having through the context of an article with another author so long ago, continued through this in this contest.
Nice.
So maybe kind of just a more personal choice, but that was something that struck me. That made this article stick in my mind. That made me remember it. So it gets to live in my 10 articles that I found to be notable from the SCP-7000 contest.
Well, I'm sure it appreciates that, and it's nice to see an article that maybe wouldn't get that designation otherwise.
Yeah, and I also like that it was the OG. I remember when this was how all of the SCP Wiki looked.
That's right. You know, people have been doing that a lot lately. Actually.
I'm into it. I dig it. It makes me nostalgic. Because, man, I was 16 years old on my old iMac 2011 that I had over in a corner of the house that's now where my parents' like little bar area is. That used to be like all the office stuff was over there. Oh, man, makes me nostalgic. I could wax poetic all night. But and then my last one was a whole dug with a rabbit's foot, which I liked because it was another one that was very, very, very strange. This one, I remember when I read it, it just got more and more bizarre as I kept going.
Yeah, that title is just crazy cool. I love that title.
Yeah. So this one's a very cool article. It's got a lot of weird crap happens in this freaking piece.
I'll have to read that one.
Yeah, let's see if we can find a good part of it. Investigation of potential extraterrestrial anomalies had been largely unsuccessful, as large occurrences were civilian sightings of SCP-994, SCP-3981 instances, and one instance of 5180. However, 4 possible leads were discovered. An evangelical sect of the Galactic Federation that was active within the area in early 1981. They were repelled in the region after a month due to conflict with Mortimer's Paw. The previously mentioned Mortimer's Paw, who possessed knowledge of extraterrestrial anomalies discovered in the state of Florida, due to the amiable relationship of the Foundation with the GOI, would be contact regarding the history of anomalies present in Cape Canaveral. Like, that's great. That's great stuff.
I like it.
We got a Fern.
Yeah, Fern showed up. What up, Fern?
Thanks for tuning in, Fern. We were just talking about your top 10 a minute ago.
Yeah, we went through your top 10. Appreciate it.
Good picks. We had some overlap.
Yeah, I think y'all both really like Phantoms. I think
we both liked the wicked wailing, screaming, what have you.
Oh yeah, insane feral, something like that. Yeah.
Good
so yeah, Phantoms was Harmony's favorite.
Yeah, Phantoms was quite excellent. Phantoms, I think, really. I love honestly. Phantom could write anything and I would enjoy it. Phantom could write a grocery. We've got good taste.
Dang, yeah, you got some good groceries on that list.
Yeah, Phantom could write a grocery list and I would find it compelling, I'm sure.
Cool. Well, I'm so sad that I didn't get to read that one, but
you got to do it. Let's put that on your list of stuff that you're going to follow up with.
I got all the time in the world now. I can go back and read whatever I want now.
It's true. Now you can just do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
See, we're all Phantom stands in this stream.
Yeah. The Phantom is OG.
Yes.
I know back in the 3000, maybe even in the 2000.
I think Phantom was running for the 2000 contest.
It's crazy. Well, so we're coming up as 20
minutes.
minutes.
I was running for the 2000 contest. Holy shit.
Hey, this has been serious for you.
I've been in this since I was 16 years old, and I'm turning 27 next month.
Oh my gosh, it's half your life.
Literally.
Yeah.
So much.
Dedication. Love it.
I love it. It's fun.
Okay, so we're about 20 minutes away. Once
Oh my
again, I don't
god.
think we'll see anything, that we are really surprised by. So we'll see how things shake out, and then we'll call it a night. But before we do, I'll go through my top 10 here, if you don't mind me
Yeah,
taking.
I want to see it. I refuse to let you do it while I was getting more wine.
Let me pull up the right screen. Yeah. Okay. So my number 10, and I had Fern. I had this in common with Fern. Eel Days by An Actual Crow. I thought this one was just so funny, so clever. The characterization throughout this whole thing was so effortless. There's a lot of great detail. The flow of this is incredible. The characterization of this is just so charming, and everything is just so incredibly creative. It's like the person was just on some sort of like creative steroids and had this excellent world building that was just effortless and came through so casually. And in the whole time you're following it, you're really hanging out with this one character, DeSanti, who's just so lovable in so many ways, so identifiable, so memorable, has an eel as a right arm. Just one of the best, one of the best articles of the contest, in my opinion,
That's
in
so
so many
sweet.
ways. Yeah, visually, writing wise, concept wise, character wise, just
Are
excellent.
you the next more? That's a great final image to lay off on. That's fantastic.
Look, and it's exactly as you would expect this character, just totally lovable. You want to give him a hug, and the eel's not going to hurt you. It's not a spiteful eel.
Aw,
Pretty
cute,
good.
cute
Yeah,
and wholesome.
yeah. Number 9 would be Business Lizard for me.
Business lizard.
Loved it. I thought that it's just so charming. You'd have to be some sort of like Scrooge to not like this
Yeah,
article.
you can't not love the business lizard.
I love it because it was kind of subtle. It's not technically a talking animal, it is technically a typing animal. And I just love it. It never types incorrect grammar. It doesn't have any punctuation. Never capitalizes anything. How could it? It's a lizard. So just the addressing it by one of these 3 monikers just sealed the deal for me. I mean, it's just a beautiful way to be hilarious and as zany as possible, and just containing it in the clinical format and tone so well, with the fluency, the clinical fluency of someone like Zen, who's been doing this for so long. It's
She's a
basically,
pro.
yeah, it's like breathing for this individual.
Yeah, she's got, oh my god, 117 comments.
Yeah,
Holy guacamole.
yeah, this is really well deserved. I'm so happy this is
Yeah,
in the top 3.
good. Bravo's in. Well done.
Another one that I thought was well selected by the community, Heptophobia. This is a number 2 position right now. This is number 8.
I've been looking at this one. I haven't read this one yet, but I've been looking at this one like, ooh, what does Yossi got cooked up for us this
Beautiful.
contest?
Yeah. Really, once again, Yossi has been sort of this sort of headlining-ish sort of author for the last few contests now, and really knocks it out of the park with this one. The image work is engaging. This is a beautiful CSS theme. We've got an excellent casting of Ethics Committee, O5 Council, sort of vying for power, and then Raisa into this sort of triangle of power struggle. A lot of corruption, a lot of just power abuse going on in here. And the ending was a little bit contentious. A lot of people didn't like this. Note at the end sort of ending that tied things up into a bow a little bit and sort of double steps the entirety of the article, almost a fake out. But just a really well written article, and explores some very interesting spaces that I don't think we've seen. And
Hold on, my computer was just telling me that all of my application memory has run out, so I had to force quit some stuff. So hopefully, if it keeps doing that, I might have to pop out of here, then pop back in. But hopefully, it doesn't make me do that. I've been slowly quitting stuff in the background.
yeah, just see we can get it shave off, like throwing stuff
Yeah.
overboard, basically.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. It's just computer doing a computer thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Heptophobia. I think that's in second place. And then my number 7 is Site 19 by Plague PJP. This one, another beautiful one, obviously visually. But this one also, I think, did something well, which is what any contest entry should do, particularly of the XK. It should try to do something. It should have some canonical impact. It should do something interesting that no article has done before. And this was just a really clever idea. The description of this is beautiful. It's Site 19, gives it a very unique spin and angle. and does a pretty good job, I think, of the way it works through its motions when it comes to interviews and dialogue. And for Plague PJP, particularly for somebody who's trying to plant the flag of Neolol Foundation on the site in this article, it really doesn't get very wacky at all. I was really quite surprised and pleased at just how measured this article ended up being. And so I really actually quite enjoyed it a lot. I think it's probably Plague PJP's best work, and certainly is deserving of where it will
God damn
place.
it. They're going to make us like Neolol Foundation, aren't they?
No, it's impossible. but I think they do, I think there are varying degrees of it, and this is pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's barely Neolol Foundation. In fact,
that was so funny. That was a great deadpan reaction. I remember I told you that I wanted to make like an animated version of a clip from that. I think that might be. We'll have to remember to clip that one.
I'd love to see that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I used to do it when I was a kid, make a lot of animation. I'd love to try that again, just for.
I think you did one in when you interviewed Zeno, kinda.
I did. That wasn't really animation. That was more just a
thumbnail.
I did draw it though. I did do a little drawing.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Next, and this is number 6 for me. This is this looks way better than it does on my browser right now, but this is the Grand Symphony of 1976 by SD Locke and Not Goal. And Harmony, once again, I think this would be something that you would like to read.
I'll read it eventually. I'm still mad. I'm still grumpy at Locke. I'm so grumpy at them a little bit.
As well, you should be.
Yeah, because they freaking patronized me with this before the contest, asking me to read it, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
But anyway, my browser is not doing this justice right now. Although you can see some of the image work here that is just
very good, very DigiWizard-esque.
Yes. And so this is just a tour de force, through the class of 76 lore and canon, particularly with respect to, I think it's SCP-2316, the bodies in the water. Really does something interesting in that it takes pre-existing lore of that nature and actually elevates it, which is very hard to do. Most people who try to touch pre-existing lore
make it less interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing that you've been saying recently about the historicity of certain events and people when they're sort of SCP-ified. It gets a lot worse. You basically rob them of their agency, and so that's really, unfortunately, what I think mostly happens when people try to play with well-established lore like this. But just an excellently paced. The rhythm of this is very exciting. There's always something creepy happening that just gets you that extra inch towards the edge of your seat all the way through to the end. I personally felt like it ended on a sour note, almost like that opera that then it needs that nice crescendo, and someone hit the wrong note on the very end. But all in all, I thought this was a really, really compelling article and is being well appreciated. I think deservedly so.
Hang on, I gotta quit out of my computer's making me quit out of Firefox, but I'll be right back.
Right. Go ahead.
Boom. Oh.
Are you still here? I guess she left. I'll get her back in. No worries. Yeah, so here we are. We're about 10 minutes away. This has been our stream for the 7000 contest ending. Obviously, this has been a lot of fun. I can't believe that we got through all of these articles. Of course, I did so with the help of my friends. Bonjour. Are you back? Harmony's not back. I'm chomping on some popcorn. I feel like on cinema at the cinema here. Uh-oh. Yo.
Hey. I think it might have been because I was sharing my screen after we weren't even looking at it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. Well, welcome back. You didn't miss anything.
Woo.
Yep. Okay. So that was the Grand Symphony. And then the next one, which I think is number 5, is A Place to Drown In. This article, I think, has gotten a lot of love, deservedly so. It did some very interesting things, a lot of good imagery, so a little bit of body horror thrown in here.
Just a little bit of a treat, little touch.
Yeah, a little touch, little smidge. Definitely some religious overtones to this article that really tap into something that we all, I think, have as an access point. The author does a great job of this. And really, the most impressive thing about this, besides just how composed this whole thing was, how measured everything was that typically when you see something like a cult or some sort of like rapturous conversion sort of anomaly that mimetically converts people into this cult situation, usually that's given either a very clear negative assessment. It's just a really bad thing. The people don't know it's a bad thing, but it is, or it's just seen as this like, exuberantly good thing. This article does an excellent job of writing that middle ground where it's very vague. It doesn't really ever give the reader enough information to determine whether or not this cult is actually a good thing or is a horrible thing. It sort of leaves that completely ambiguous, which I thought was a very, very clever thing, not something you typically see.
Not
Usually,
easy to avoid the temptation of having a final conclusion like that, because it makes your narrative easier to take place if you can just say, "Oh yeah, and they were fucking evil, so you were right to be suspicious, or you were wrong to disregard." Like it never, like that's a really easy step to. It's an easy mistake to make because it makes your narrative feel more conclusive, but then you're robbed of the potential that something this has for that ambiguity to leave you with questions.
yes, exactly. And so this article really does that when so many people have had the opportunity to prior to it. I mean, it's almost like when you get to an article like this that has that sort of cult setup, it's almost instantly magnetized to one side or the other, either being very, very evil or very, very good. And this one just plays this novel motion that's just amazing to watch because no one's done it well yet. And here it is in the 7,000 contest doing it excellent. I mean, it just rides that line so well.
Hell yeah, we love to see it.
And this one I think was really kind of a sleeper for a while, but it looks like it's picking up steam. That's nice.
105, not bad at all.
Speaking of sleeper, this is my number 4 entry is called The Spark of Life. This is by Blind Beard. This one really, I think this is maybe the same image that you shared in that Great Filter article. Maybe they look
something like that. They look similar, but the Great Filter one definitely had a darker picture than this one.
Okay, good. But this one was really, really well written. This is really about kind of a sort of xenobiology, sort of like forced or artificial abiogenesis sort of setup. And but is a really nice character study. In fact, I think the character work here rivals that of The Loser. I think that it just isn't
High
quite
praise.
it isn't quite as sexy. It doesn't really have those like goofiness and the funniness. But the character work here and the messages that the author is able to contribute to the characters and through the characters is just excellent. And so really everything about this article, particularly the dialogue, the narrative, the mood, the vibe, it's all so well written. And it has that little science fiction.
Outstanding. We love to see it.
Yeah, excellent image work too. So if you're a fan of sci-fi, it is a little long, but I really was very eager to finish this one. I never really was sighing about the length. It really carries itself very, very well.
That's always a wonderful thing to have when you're reading an article, because you know that when you check to see how far you have left to scroll, that's when you've lost the reader, is when they're taking themselves like, oh god, how much is left in this? When are we let's wrap this up. I've got other shit to read.
Yeah. This one never felt that way. Excellently paced, particularly for the length.
Yeah,
Just,
that's not easy to do. That's a tough thread. The needle's a thread.
Yeah.
Too much of this.
Yeah, excellent amount of stamina in this article. Just keeps going. Okay, so then my number 3, which was also a little less appreciated of a post, but that I thought was just an absolutely masterful article, was Micromanagement. And this is by Land 2D. This is a first SCP, so that's interesting to note.
A lot of firsts in this contest, I noticed.
And this may be the best one rating-wise. I'm not sure. I haven't gone back to look at that stats-wise, but this one was also incredible. It has sort of an admonition vibe to it, particularly like Eighth Commandment. Really, it basically does the same things as that article, performs the same steps. But I gave it the nod because at every step that it does the same basic walkthrough, the same floor plan, basically that the Eighth Commandment does, it does it so much better. Everything about this article, I think, is just above bar. The dialogue, the
I
characterization.
like the little logo on the server racks there.
Right. Yeah. And I'd mentioned that at the time. This is so simple, but it's just so well done. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
an
well,
easy shoop to do.
yeah, a lot easier to make look bad. And the whole article is like this. The amount of believability that's in this article, the way that it approaches highly sort of philosophical, high concept kind of work, without being pretentious, connecting very emotionally. I think this was really a miraculous article, particularly for somebody's first. I was happy to see.
What was this one called? I was trying to subtly look it up, but I couldn't. I was not able to do it successfully. What's it? I want to check it out.
This one's called Micromanagement, and it's a bit long. It's got some offsets.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look it up. I'm definitely not reading this right now. But I'm like, you've piqued my interest now. Now I want to check it out.
This is a really, really good one. It's really underread. If you do check out the comments to it, everybody's praising it quite highly. From what I saw, at least when I looked at
it. My dang computer is doing the turning off my second monitor again. Why are Macs like this?
My number 2 is The Loser. Once again, I not a huge fan of this style of article, but I think this does it better than anybody has done or will. I think this is it. This is the best.
The hustle.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, it does excellent things. I think the most impressive thing it does is get as funny as it is while maintaining its composure and its grip in universe with the characterization of the Foundation, what it's doing in universe, and
you'll
staying
laugh,
in
you'll
character.
Cry.
Yeah, you'll laugh. I mean, and this obviously, we are living in the era of character work at the SCP Wiki, and this is as good of a character work, exposition and narrative and resolution as you'll ever see. I do think it gets a little overbaked at times.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely had moments where I was like, really? We're doing this right now? Okay.
But
some of it gets a little hammy sometimes, but it never like as soon as it starts going down that path, it kind of pulls you back.
Yes.
It's like, no, wait, no, here's a really well written dialogue sequence, or no, wait, here's this kind of pretty decent action sequence. No, don't. It never lets you leave.
Even in those kind of ham-fisted moments, I mean, we have these nice images that sort of pad that a little bit. I mean, they're really, really well done. They're so believable. Just adds that really extra oomph of effort and artisanry that I think pushes it over the edge, where other articles kind of end with the sort of a flatulence at that moment. This sort of makes it something a lot better.
Yeah, and I think that also the very character of what's his name, Willard, what's his Weddle. Yeah, I think Weddle's character does a lot to. He's very sympathetic just because he's so freaking pathetic. He gets wrecked.
He even added a little hot dog. You can tell that's an addition right there to the hot dogs flying everywhere. Yeah, so this is just like the best slapstick you'll see on the site. This is once again also casting the Chaos Insurgency as its primary villain, as Harmony said earlier. Does a really good job with this. Everything about this is just so well thought out. Nothing isn't given that high level of focus and detail and customization. Everything is custom fit to this article. It's just an incredible thing to see.
All the pieces fit together perfectly. Also, we have 3 minutes left until this wins, so we got to get your top 10 done. We could praise the loser all day, but we gotta. It's already gonna win. It's gonna get enough praise.
All right. Okay. Good deal. So my number 1, I went back and forth. This is my initial number 1. I went back and forth. My number 1 is 3 White Horses. This article is so damn good. It's so good. It does have that post-apocalyptic kind of feel. It's incredible. The world building. The reason why I chose this is that the world building, the grandiosity of this, just how creative it was when you get into this world and realize why it is doing things like writing on actual pieces of paper, not digital copies, but real ones. Just the effortless characterization, the effortless world building in this. Just all in all, maybe is because it had a little bit of a spiritual and religious bent to it, but I was just blown away by this article. It's one of those ones that you never forget where you were reading it at. And so this one just was so, it's just so amazing to me. This article was miraculous to me.
Okay. You've convinced me. I definitely have to read this one. I have to read the shit. What was the other one called that I was looking up here?
Micromanagement.
Micromanagement. This one, okay.
Those are good. You won't go wrong with those, I don't think.
Micromanagement and the three white horses. Okay.
And this one is just outside the top 13, I think, as we speak. And having said that, I think we are almost done. I think we're about 2 minutes away, aren't we?
We are indeed 2 minutes away from the very end of the whole contest.
That was good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I gave you a poke there, because we really could have talked about the loser all day.
Yeah, and people will, and people have. It's a very lively comment section. It's nice, a nice read. And congratulations to Harry Blank. I really do think
Congrats.
that.
Yeah, well done.
Like I said, I think the Three White Horses, I think, is the better article in my opinion, but I don't think it should have been 7,000. I do think that you have to consider the moment, the stage, and the
Context.
appropriateness. Yeah, the context. Yeah. And so I think in that way, particularly with where the SCP Wiki is now,
oh my God,
I think
less than a minute. Oh,
I think the loser is the right winner for this contest.
I agree.
And it really was from the moment it was posted. People were already calling it the winner.
As they should. They got it. I guess it shows that for all you can say about the SCP Wiki, they're not culturally bankrupt yet.
No.
They're spending. They are burning money, but they are not bankrupt yet.
Yeah, I think they're very, very good at identifying, the top 5% of articles. When an article is just exceptionally good, they're good at identifying that. I think that most of the KCONs they've gotten correct.
I would hazard to agree. All of my devices just told me that it's midnight, so that means
let's see how on top of it they are. Yeah, it'll probably take a second. With the with the 6,000, it took a while because they had to marshal some of the votes. I don't know if they're doing that here, because a lot of people were like, "Hey, I like this article, but I'm downvoting it because I don't think it's a good fit for 7,000."
Oh yeah, they had all that drama about that.
Yeah, and so they've tried to maintain that through this contest. They're really trying to push that.
Let's see. Are they going to announce the winner? Are the winning?
I don't think people are really care about that rule, to be honest with you. Maybe they have a lot of work to do.
I think that they've learned that you just can't tell people that's why you downvote, or else you'll get in trouble.
Yeah, so basically all it's doing is just incentivizing people to just not comment.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, I wonder who won.
Curious.
Interesting. Let's see. I wonder if I can still pull up the how you'll say
the leaderboard.
Yep. Oh, I can. Suckers.
Oh my God, my dang second monitor keeps unplugging itself. It's so annoying.
All right, so while they kind of wrap things up, because God knows when they're going to do that. I mean, honestly, it might be a few hours from now for all we know.
They might just assume that no one's awake. I mean, it's just us, really. It's just us and the few folks who are with us watching now.
Oh, God, thank you, bless you.
God bless them all.
So just for our sake, as we look at this, I think this is the way it's going to shake out. On the screen, we got our leaderboard here. The loser accrued about 460 total upvotes. That's impressive, obviously.
Well
I think
done.
About what 6,000 was last time. Number 2 goes to Yossi Posse, Heptophobia. Number 3 goes to Zen with Business Lizard. Number 4 goes to Fabled Tiefling, Meet Me in the Stars. Possibly a breakout article. Fabled Tiefling, obviously people know about, but this was really surprising, I think. Beating Tufto in the 5th position with Neon God. Number 6 goes to Plague PJP with Site 19. Number 7 to Staffer, Look at the Irish. Dr. Sumerian comes in at, number 9?
In the top 10. Deservedly so.
Sorry, 8.
All the top 10 are like plus 200. That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah. Wow.
Locke and Not Gull come in at number 9 with the Grand Symphony of 1976. And the top 10 is rounded out by Misfortune Gorge by Grigori Karpin with the nod to Uncle Nicolini's "So Long and Thanks for the Fish" and 11.
Hey, that's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I don't think it had anything to do with the actual article, unless I'm mistaken.
Probably not, but
Yeah,
I love those books, so
it's always
I'll be
around.
like,
Yeah, that's a favorite phrase.
that's
And then
that's something I like.
Rounder House sort of encores this contest with the 12th place under Vegas orientation. The house loses. And then number 13 goes to the Hungry Season. Big sloth on my face. Somebody who really placed highly last contest, was sort of a breakout author for that. I think placed in the top 4 or 5, and did an admirable job.
Good result here too. Good job.
Yeah, this was the first article chronologically that took itself seriously, so it was really nice to see that.
That's always a plus.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I don't know if we're gonna if we want to just sit here until they come around, because we basically know, don't we?
Yeah, I think that we've done it. They can do whatever we want. We know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. So y'all, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. We'll kind of make sure that everything we just told you is correct when we get the finalized ordering here and the placements. But this has been a very interesting contest, and certainly one that I've followed more closely than I typically have for any others. And so,
I really enjoyed reading all these with you. I'm gonna miss doing this, but also I feel like this has given me the confidence, because I want to do some fun streaming stuff now that you've got your bigger and better responsibilities to take care of in your amazing cool guy life.
I don't know about that. I'm basically not doing anything because I got nothing else going on. I got kids, and that's it now. But yeah, I appreciate it. And you have my blessing. I mean, obviously that would be cool. I would appreciate something like that, just because I'm not going to be able to keep up with the bleeding edge of the wiki as much as I have. And as much
what I'm thinking of doing is I'd like to do something that looks at some of the stuff. Maybe not everything's being posted, but some little sampling of stuff from all the different config sites, just to
that would be great.
Get a little roundup, see where we're all at.
Yeah,
I think that could be fun. That's what I'm thinking about doing. So we'll see.
Well, I would definitely watch that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd be there, but I'd try to do that live too.
I've got a vacation in 2 weeks, so I'm not going to do anything before I leave on vacation. But after I get back from vacation, I've got lots of ideas.
We all heard it. Y'all keep tuning in, I suppose, to this channel. Harmony will be picking things up, I hope.
I will. I'll be doing stuff.
I'll be so happy to see that. That'll be so much fun to watch. So looking forward to that.
All right. Have a good night, my man.
Yeah, you too. I know it's late for you. Thank you very much for joining, and
no problem.
We will talk soon. And once again, I just cannot thank you enough. It's meant the world to me to have somebody, come up here and do this with me, and then match me and how geeky I want to be about this.
Yeah, we're big dorks about this containment fiction stuff, so it's fun to have. It's fun to not be the only one who cares about this stuff like this.
I gotcha. All right. Talk to you soon.
Have a good one, man.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.